Z Garcia, hello.
Sam Healy, hello everyone.
This is like the creepy party games we're doing today, yes?
Party! All right, so party games. This is another one of our lists that we've already done 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 4 years ago now. And so I thought it was time to do it. In fact, speaking of redoing it, a lot of my games have come out in those years prior. I mean, in the last several years.
Yeah.
You mean you're thinking your list has considerably changed? Is that what you mean?
I believe, well, okay, I shouldn't say one. There's 3 games that I know were not out the last time we did this, possibly 4. I don't remember one specific one.
I'm sure I have a few, but I did not go back and look at my old list.
I didn't either, but I know when some of the games came out that I put on my list.
Right.
Also, unlike Sam, I feel pretty confident that this was an easy list for me to do because I went all the way up to number 22.
Wow.
Easily. And those are games that I rated 8 or higher.
Well, I think I categorize. Well, no, I don't categorize. Party games that I like might not be considered actual tried and true party games by many other people.
Right.
So I went up to 14 or 15. So that's pretty good for somebody who doesn't necessarily like party games.
Speaking of that, and this is no condemnation of whatever Sam may have put on his list.
Wow.
No. But for my list, I specifically cut out social deduction games because they're it's a different category for me, and I also cut out dexterity games because pretty much any dexterity game can be a party game.
I'm not good at dexterity games, so I'm not. I didn't.
Well, I have one dexterity game, and I have at least 1, possibly 2, maybe 7 social deduction games.
Yeah, I've got.
That's fine, but
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 social deduction games.
I cut social deduction on my list because I wanted to talk about something else, and we can do a social deduction list. Well, maybe we won't now.
No, I really have I have 2 really.
Okay.
I mean, how many social deduction games aren't party games though?
I'm not saying that they're not party games, okay? Because me, a party game is a game you can bring to a party.
So this is just you being a little bit more stringent for your list.
Again, I said I wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm clarifying. I'm not criticizing that, but I thought it would be more
Not
useful.
yet, anyway. Right.
Not yet, right? Yes.
That's great. I thought it would be more useful if I talked about games that were not social deduction games. Like, let me put some other games on the list. Although, okay, 2 of mine are kind of close to social
Ooh,
deduction.
we're gonna get
He
you.
broke his own rule.
We're gonna get you.
He stepped over his own line in the sand.
That's it.
I'll just start.
Number 10.
All right, so basically the way I came up with my list is I just went to Board Game Geek, entered in the category party games, and then went through 10 pages. I try to go through at least 10 pages, and I ranked them by, I don't rank them by, I have each page show 100. So I try to go through 1,000 games, just scrolling, I understand. But that's how I came up with my list, and I just picked out the 15.
I thought there was a few in that category. I'm trying to remember what they were. Well, maybe you'll say some of them.
Maybe I'll say some of them.
That's not a party game.
There were some where I was doing that exact same thing, and none of those made this list.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully we'll see.
The games were, but there was a couple games I'm like, what? Who said that's a party game?
This is my number 10 is a dice rolling game, but the dice don't have pips on them. They don't have numbers on them. They don't even have silhouettes or images on them. They have partial words. And you have to roll these dice. You get 3 of them at a time, and then you have to come up with a word. Usually it's a fake word that matches the category that the chooser has chosen for that round. It's called vocabulary. And I haven't played this game in a long time because I don't have a copy anymore. I think you got got rid of your copy.
No.
You still have it? Man, we don't.
It's actually number 23.
Oh, so anyway, it's really neat. It's kind of like an apples to apples where you have one person who is the town crier or whatever. They pick the category that you're rolling for that turn, and then everybody rolls their dice and they pick 3 dice that fit together as a word, and that word is supposed to be the one that fits whatever definition you've been given.
Like what do you call chewing gum you find on the bottom of your shoe?
Right.
It's called maka.
Yeah, exactly, or something like that. And the person who is the chooser chooses which one he likes the best, and he gives that card to that person. And it's just really fun. It's one of the few word party games that I really enjoy. It's my number 10, Vocabulary by Out of the Box Publishing.
That's the first of many party games that we're going to talk about that are out of print. So I'm going to start with mine, which is also, I think, pretty much out of print. And this is from North Star Games, because North Star Games works on one game at a time. Right now they're on Evolution, and they're spacing out Wits and Wagers. But there was a game that I really like for them called Say Anything.
Right.
I still think Say Anything is a great party game. It's like the apples to apples murderer. Essentially, someone asks a category like, what's a cereal I would never eat? And then everyone writes it down on the thing, and you put it out there. And the judge looks at them all and picks the one that they agree with. Everyone else is trying to guess which one the judge picked, which I like because, the judge might not pick yours because he doesn't like Z or whatever. That's fine, but I can work with that. You can't, not pick somebody's thing because they're winning the game,
Right.
which could be problematic. And because it allows you to write whatever you want, the answers can be funnier, they can be meta. Of course, in some groups, they get very blue, depending on what group you're in. But it can really widely range. And I'm really surprised this one is not more popular than it is. Because I've always had great success with it.
Well, like you said, I think it's out of print, right?
It is. I'm trying to see if I have a copy of it somewhere. I'm pretty sure I do. I really
Yeah,
like
I'm surprised
it.
they never came out with a deluxe version of that or put a twist on it and put it out again. It just sort of fizzled, that one. Wits and Wagers steamrolled over that.
I think I played it just too much.
Yeah?
It replaced Apples to Apples, definitely killed Apples to Apples, because it's basically the same game, it's just you have more freedom.
Right, you're not stuck with the cards.
Right. So I think I just played it so much because there are all 10 of these. I would much rather play rather than Say Anything.
All right, what do you got?
All right, my number 10 is probably the newest game on my list, and that is Insider. That has been pretty hot lately. Insider is a word-driven, conversation-driven game, which is, again, the shorthand everyone seems to be using these days is 20 questions meets whodunit kind of game. And it's very fun. It's easy. It's very, it's sort of lacking structure a little bit to a certain degree, so it's nice to be able to sit around in a group. You don't need a central table or anything. You just sort of lounge around your party space and converse, right? And yeah, you got a timer going on. You are trying to figure out some word that one person knows and one secret insider knows. Once you arrive at that question, you are at that answer, that word, you are trying to then figure out who knew it all along. The insider knew it all along. It's fun. It's tiny. It's very portable. Great to take along with you. So I enjoy it a lot. And it's probably honestly on the list because it is very new. I'm still in a honeymoon phase with it a little bit maybe. But I wanted that not to color my opinion too much, so it squeaks in at number 10. That's Insider.
Yeah, and this one's a very hard one to find. However, Bezier Games is reprinting it, calling it Werewords. It's essentially the same game.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, they're not
Oh, you
saying...
didn't know that yet?
They're not saying they're reprinting it, but it's a very similar design. It's not the exact same design.
Here's a stone. I'm gonna beat some more blood out of it. Yeah.
Stones have blood?
Well, maybe.
Number 9.
Number 9 is my newest one, possibly, and this one I want, but Z has it, but I need to get a copy of my own. And this is called When I Dream. I'm really liking When I Dream.
Oh, okay, cool.
When I Dream is a really fun party game, and I guess this one's kind of social deduction to some degree, but it feels different in the sense one person's blindfolded, and everyone else has a bunch of cards, and you're trying to get this person to guess as many cards as you can. Except some people are trying to get them to guess the words wrong.
Right.
And so you go around the table and each person gives one word clues and they're listening and eventually you can guess. But some people are giving you bad clues. And some people are giving you good or bad clues because they want your right and wrong answers to be equal. Right?
So they'll switch between giving good clues and bad clues. Yes.
It is a really fun game. Beautiful artwork, which is wasted because you're blindfolded. But
Everybody else isn't, though.
Well, the artwork really is like it's this gorgeous Vincent Dutrait card, beautiful artwork, and all you need is a word written on that card. It's like, okay.
It like mixes two things too, but you're only using one of those two things. So.
Oh, the artwork is fantastic. They should do something else with it.
I'm really sad, But anyway, so that is When I Dream, my number 9.
All right, my number 9 has been mentioned already, but it's not been on anyone's list.
Oh.
This is Wits and Wagers.
You mentioned that.
Huh?
You mentioned that.
Well, I mentioned it when I talked about.
Oh, you did.
He
Okay.
said it when he said anything. Wits and Wagers is basically a classic party game these days. I would say it's up there with like an apples to apples as far as how well known it is, how many people have played it, just general, awareness of it, because it has shown up in a lot of sort of big box stores at this point. And it is a trivia game that does not beat you down for not knowing something. And that's really it. That's the one problem it solves over Trivial Pursuit and every ripoff of Trivial Pursuit ever. That you don't need to know. You can guess. And then bet on the person you think knows or kind of knows. And so it takes the party aspect of it and turns it on its head by allowing you to put your strength behind somebody else's knowledge. And that's great. So Wits and Wagers, we've obviously played it a lot as a game show style, but I still really, really like this game just as a party game. Just as, you can play with teams of two, sit around a nice big table, discuss between the two of you, write down an answer, and then discuss between the two of you what you want to put your money on. Straightforward, fun, short, 7 questions, you're done. I like that. Usually you can play again. So Wits and Wagers is still really, really strong for me. My number 9.
I disagree. I think the only way that I will play this game again is at a convention in a game show format. I've tried it just recently with my youth group again, and it flopped again.
Yeah.
It might just be the group of kids that I have that don't do well with it. But if you get a couple of teams that are just not into it, and they're just putting up stupid answers.
No, I agree on that.
It just one or two teams can just kill the entire game.
Right.
And so,
well, it's definitely not the. I remember the first time I played, I felt slightly disappointed too, because it's certainly not a laughter-driven game.
No, it's not.
It's not the kind of party game that you're going to walk away going, "Whew, my sides hurt."
Yeah.
No, at all.
It can be, I guess. It depends on who you're playing with, but it's not because of the game.
No, it's people. People can do that, sure,
Right.
but it's but that's okay. That's for that kind of party where I don't need to be chuckling the entire time. I like this one.
Cool. All right, my number 9 is from Cool Mini or Not, and it is called Unusual Suspects. And this is one that I really enjoy. It gets a lot of flack for being non-PC. And I think you should just...
Well, it can be... It's basically based on who's playing the game.
Right.
True, but at the end of the day, you are making judgments on different caricatures based on how they look. So I understand the argument. I just am saying that...
Be like PC and play this game.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Just drop it. Drop the whatever and just play the game. That's all I'm saying is, and once you do that, you'll actually have a great time. One of my most memorable experiences at a convention. No, I'm serious.
No, just drop your convictions and then you'll like.
No, it's just this. I don't know. It's just this. I'm not gonna go there. Anyway, text me or email me and I'll share my real opinions. But. One of my most memorable experiences at a convention has been at Cool Mini or Not Expo when we kind of sat around this huge dining room table, this circular dining room table, and it was me and Z and Mark Street was there, Marty, Rodney. We just had a huge table of really strong personalities playing this game, and it was a blast. We had a great time. And basically what you're doing is, you pull over who's the last person or who's the last one of these people who will ride their bike to school or to work or something like that. And so you have to look at all these people. There's like 12, a grid of 12 out there, right? Something to that
like
effect.
That, yeah.
3 by 4 or something to that effect. And you have to try to deduce which one of these people is the one who would be the last person to ride their bike to...
You should play this on my Aces deck.
That would be funny.
That would work, I guess.
That would work. That would be funny, too.
Oh, man, I got some really good pictures in there.
Yeah, we've got a 30-hour marathon coming up, too.
That's true.
So anyway, my number 9 is Unusual Suspects. It gets a lot of flack for being non-PC, but I love it. It's a great game, so check it out.
Number 8.
My number 8 is one of the simplest games on the list, and this is Tapple, one that really goes over well with no matter what kind of group you're playing with. You can play with adults and make up your own categories, and that makes for a fun time.
Wait,
Tapple.
not Topple.
Tapple. The
Tapple.
one, that's the one where you like push a...
Yeah, you push a letter and you say a thing and push a letter.
You're right, I forgot about Tapple.
And then you can also play with kids, where you use one of the some of the built-in categories that come with it, and so it'll be the game is ice cream flavors. Go, you hit a buzzer in the middle, it gives you 10 seconds or something, and then you the amount of time.
Yeah.
No, really, I don't think so.
I think so. Otherwise, you would hold it till time runs out.
I don't know, maybe. Anyway, you say, rum raisin, you press the R, you hit the thing, and it's the next player's go. The R is now taken, so they say vanilla, hit the thing, and so the keys, it's sort of like piano keys, they get depressed and they stay that way, and you are trying to say something when it comes back to you with the letters that are left. That's basically it. But it's a game based on a gadget that works for once. Those are rare. I mean, those are really rare.
Well, it works more than one time, too.
Right. Because most games that, and this has been a thing for years, but this whole, base a party game around some gizmo, they tend to be, not really up to snuff. So I think Tapple works. It's very fun. It's easy to play. This thing can be unwieldy to travel with, and the box is very bad quality, honestly. But the game is fun, so I would very much recommend it. Again, if you want something that's real entry level, very easy to get everybody into it. So Tapple is my number 8.
I want to know why his first ice cream flavor is rum raisin, though.
That's my favorite ice cream.
Rum.
Is it really?
Because rum.
Chocolate chip cookie dough.
Takes too long to say.
Chocolate is, I'm pretty sure, going to be gone by the time you get the Tapple machine, though.
That's true.
That's the first one that's going to go.
C is
Chocolate.
Coconut.
What do you got? All right, what do you got?
My number 8 is a game that we play a lot. As a matter of fact, every time we have a marathon, we play this game, and you guys enjoy it. That's why we do it. That is Time's Up Title Recall.
That's 8?
Yeah, it's 8.
Woo.
I don't like it as much as you guys
garbage.
do.
Not that it's higher on my list or anything.
No, it will be. It will be. I know it will be. The reason it's lower on my list and higher on the... I don't know why it's higher on their list, but the reason it's lower on my list is because it's one of those games where a dynamic team can win.
Okay, but what did you think about playing team?
You like
versus
that,
team?
you mean? I don't know.
That I enjoy, but that's not how the rule book says.
No, but I mean...
Rules?
So-
We
yeah.
don't need no stinking rules.
And more like guidelines. No, that's the main thing, because when we've played it live, there's always been the best two people are always the team.
It's usually not you, actually.
Me and Jason, man.
No, it's Jason and anyone he's playing with,
True.
actually.
Yeah, unless he just doesn't connect with that other person.
He could play by himself and probably beat us.
And that's why it's lower on the list. Yeah, like...
Thanks,
And then run
Jason.
around.
You've been saying this game for an hour. What's wrong with you, man?
But the thing is, it's to have fun. It's dependent upon too many different things. So it's one of those games that I don't think will work in every circumstance with every group of people, because you will definitely have people who are not as good at this as others. And I've seen people get really, really, really bored and or depressed playing this game because they know they're not going to do good. And that's just not a fun thing. I still enjoy the game. That's why it's on my list. But I think it has a lot of flaws that you have to play around, so to speak. So that's my number 8, Time's Up Title Recall from R&R Games.
We'll come back to this. All right, my number 8 is a crossover with Z, maybe for the same reason that it's still new, and that's Insider. Insider is just a lot of fun for me. It's one of those games, too, where people gather around the table, you're playing it, they drop in, they drop out, and that's why I like this. Like, again, I'm trying to justify why did I not put Resistance and Werewolf on the list, but I did put this one on the list, because this one I feel like I could bring to any party and play it.
Right.
I'd be like, hey, we're going to play Insider. People sit around. Resistance you can do, but you got to set up, explain it. There's metagaming and all that. Insider's like, it's 20 questions. Oh, okay. And I love 20 questions, and there's very few party games that riff on that category.
Yeah.
And so far, it's been great. The biggest problem we have with Insider is the small amount of cards that's in it.
Sure.
Although you could play with pretty much anything. I need like a random word generator, like an electric word generator, to be great.
You probably get that online. Some website probably does that
Well,
job,
there was
right?
one for that. There was a party game from R&R Games that had a random word generator. I should probably put that down. But anyway, Insider, my number 8.
Number 7.
My number 7 is a social deduction game indeed, so I know it will not be on Tom's list, but I'm expecting it to certainly be on Sam's list. This is one of my favorites, if not my favorite social deduction game, Deception, Murder in Hong
This is
Kong.
really moving up for you. As
It
time goes by.
really is. This came along and took the things I liked in Mysterium, which was not everything, but the things I did like in it, and stripped away everything but that core. Now, unfortunately, in the Crossfire, the gorgeous artwork got caught as well.
Right, yes.
But
Deception has gorgeous.
No, it doesn't.
beautiful words. But the gameplay is all there, you know, and then the engagement between the people is what's going to do it. The thing I always go back to with this one is that social deduction games have a natural ramp-up feeling to them, where at the beginning, you're sort of just lost a little bit. And by, you know, the third round or whatever, you then know what you want to do. You are actively going for something.
If you haven't been eliminated.
Sure, right. Deception Murder in Hong Kong gets around that issue by giving you stuff to do and look at and deal with immediately.
Right.
And that's what I like about it. You're engaged right away. And it's short enough where you're going to want to play again. There are different roles. And it's fairly easy to explain. It does not get convoluted in, you know, the whole, what does this role do again? This is no longer a party game when I have to, like, study. This one gets around that. So Deception Murder in Hong Kong for me is a slam dunk. If you're going to go with one social deduction style game for parties, this is the one, I think.
All right, my number 7 is probably higher on Sam's list, which is a lie, because it's Codenames. Now look.
Yeah, Codenames.
Yeah, right. This is one of those games that, if we did a people's choice for this category, could possibly be number 1.
It's probably one.
It would more than likely be number 1.
Yes.
But I don't know, right? But I really do enjoy Codenames. I like it because it can be played 2 ways. It can be played, hey, big group of people, everyone's talking and going back and forth, or you play with a couple pairs of people and it's like very thinky.
Right.
But I'm not looking at it in that way because, again, I'm trying to think of games that I would bring to a party.
Right.
So I could bring Codenames to party, probably Codenames Pictures, actually. But one or the other. And everyone gather around, you split people up in teams, and it's just a lot of fun in that way. There's a lot of discussion back and forth. Is it this word or that word? And then finally people are like, all right, these are the words we're going to pick. Again, Codenames is one of those games that can be played very differently, but the party aspect does work very well for me.
Well, I'll agree with you as far as Codenames Pictures being, I think, a better vehicle for a party setting. Because it allows for more gray area, better discussion. As opposed to a word, it's just simply a little more, you know, it's more inflexible.
You're right. Oh, that picture. Oh, I bet he's thinking of that.
He's thinking of
right.
this part of that drawing, right? I mean, that. And that's okay. I enjoy that.
Do we have a crossover? Are you also Codenames for your number 7?
Yeah, why don't you hold your breath for that one?
Don't do it. You're going to pass
My number
out.
7 is from Indie Boards and Cards, and it's called The Resistance. Now, the reason I put The Resistance up here...
Such a dork.
Now, the reason I put The Resistance up here is because... what you just mentioned The Resistance on one of your last ones. What was that on?
I did put it on one of my lists recently. I did, I thought.
Insider.
Right, instead of... Okay, yes. Thank you very much. See, I forgot that game already. It's forgettable. Anyway, 20 questions is 20 questions. And that's all Insider is.
Oh, you don't like Insider?
No, don't like Insider at all. Because it's just 20 questions. Why don't I just go... I don't...
Questions with a trader, man.
Which is unnecessary. Anyway, Resistance has...
I'm gonna start quizzing on Resistance.
Resistance has thematic purpose. There's a reason why you're on this team and not on that team. And with Insider, it just didn't make sense why there was a traitor in a game with 20 questions. I don't know. It's fine. Like it. I don't care. But I don't like it. I like Resistance instead because it gives me purpose. It gives me a goal that we're all trying to work towards. And it also gives, I think it's a lot more socially deductive. And I like social deductive games, especially in party settings, because more often than not, the people I'm at a party with are people that I usually know pretty well. And social deduction games are very fun in settings like that. So Resistance is my, not my favorite social deduction party game, but it is definitely one of my favorite. So that's my number 7, The Resistance.
Number 6.
My number 6 was already mentioned by Z. He keeps stealing my thunder.
Oh!
And this one is because it works. It's the best party game to play in huge groups of people, and that's Wits and Wagers. Now, granted, 99% of me playing this anymore is with a large group of people.
Right.
But many parties are large, and I'm ready. I'm ready to come in, ready to play it with a big group of people, put you on teams. And I know that you said that it didn't work so well with teens, but I cannot speak for Sam's experience. I have never had a game of this go bad for me. It has always gone over really well. Again, just me, not Sam. And I love it for that reason.
Throw me under the bus.
No. I'm saying that I'm not discounting your experiences.
You're just saying that you're better at running it than I am.
No, I didn't think about that. But yes. No. No, but I do it a lot, okay? It's not that. I really love it. I like playing with groups. I love watching people get together and arguing back and forth over the answer.
Right.
I love that feeling. As a game with just 7 people, it's still pretty good, but it would not make my top 10. Because I love the discussion back and forth. I've been on those Wits and Wagers teams where you're sitting there and you're like, oh, what do you think? Oh, we're talking back and forth, and that person on that team seems to know a lot about this.
How often do you run this game when you're not at a convention?
Like, you mean like at a
how do you,
party setting?
Right.
Maybe once or twice a year, like at a party, like at church.
So you run it more at conventions than you do outside of conventions?
Well, definitely, but that's because I go to conventions. But if I didn't go to conventions, let's say I was having parties at my house with people, I would definitely run it there too.
I just think it's your vision is a little skewed because I totally agree with everything you've said in a convention game show type format where there's like 100 people in the room and there's 10 teams of 10 and it's a huge thing and everybody's the energy is up. I totally agree with everything you've said. But with 7 people, nope. This game just falls flat.
Well, no, I'm not arguing that. I played with 7 people before, and I don't think it would make the list with 7 people, but I played with 14 people before where there's like 2 people per team.
Yeah.
And that has worked well.
Okay.
So, again, it wouldn't make my list with the game. So, Wits and Wagers. What do you got?
I'm taking a drink. All right, so we're on 7s now, yeah? 6s. All right, 6s. Have you ever wanted to just play a game where you can point guns at your friends and not have to worry about anything?
Well, it's a Tom Vassell introduction. Yes.
That's pretty much what Cash and Guns 2.0 is.
Oh, fake guns.
Yeah, fake guns. That is correct.
That was mean.
No, that was you, man. That was your style. I recognize you. You have a style, okay? That's good. That's a compliment.
By Repo's production, Cash and Guns 2.0. Now, I enjoyed Cash and Guns, the first edition, a lot. Enjoyed it extremely. But Cash and Guns 2.0 took that very good system and streamlined it, made it much smoother, much easier to teach, which is a huge thing for a party game, and just overall improved the game, upgraded it. So second edition is the one I would point you at. Repo, you probably can't even get first edition anymore, I would imagine. It's out of print, yeah. So the Cash and Guns 2.0, there's
They're not even calling it that. They're just calling it Cash and Guns.
Yeah, they're Cash and Guns now. It's second edition, but yeah, if you need to look for it, that's what it's going to be called, Cash and Guns second edition. But you got a pile of loot on the table, represented by a bunch of different cards, and you have to point foam guns at each other, and you're trying to psych people out to try to get them to drop out so that there's fewer people to divide the loot up with. And you go through, I think it's 8 rounds of that, and whoever has the most loot at the end of those 8 rounds is the winner. You can be eliminated from the game if you take too many shots, but that's just part of the game. It goes pretty fast. So being eliminated from the game isn't a big deal. And usually what has happened in the past for me is that we play this game multiple times in a setting. So if you get knocked out of the first one, you can get right back in on the second one. So Cash and Guns, 2nd edition from Repros Productions, my number 6.
How is this? How do you feel that the 2nd edition is easier to teach than the first?
Well, first of all,
split the money evenly between players. That's mathy.
Right. You don't have to add everything up and then, okay, there's 4 players. And it's just, you take a card, you take a card, you take a card.
Draft the cards around.
You also have to explain all those things, though, all
I
those
just
cards.
explain them when they show up.
Because that's the one thing I agree with you that it is a fun game, but yeah, I don't think they simplified it for the second one. Like, they took away the bang, bang, bang cards.
Oh, yeah, you're kidding? I'm tired of teaching that rule.
And then they added in a bunch of other rules. Like, you can take the desk. The desk does this. You can now get all these different cards that do all these things.
They also took out the police.
That was a variant. That was a variant.
But still, it's not there
you ever
anymore.
play that variant?
Yeah, I have, I think.
You got
Passing
the
the
card
stuff
under
under
the
the table.
That
Yeah.
was so complicated.
No, I mean, that's the one thing I felt that they didn't really streamline it. They, took simplicity, they took complexity away from one place and put it in a different
They
place.
did not. It's easier. Z is incorrect here.
All right, my number 6 is a Liar's Dice style game, but I usually will play this one at a party setting as opposed to Liar's Dice because, again, it allows for the group to be a little bit more informal. And this is mathy, I know that, so I'll only bring it to a gathering if it's not going to be
bunch of mathy people.
A silly sort of if the wine isn't going to be flowing, is what I mean.
What game is it already? You guys do that to
Powwow.
me. Okay, I'm just saying.
Which is also known as Coyote, and this is the one based on what is that called? Something poker, where you're gonna put a feather in a headband you're wearing. There's a number on it or a symbol on it.
I don't know.
It might be called Indian poker.
Okay, and
Native
you are going to
American
then. You're gonna on your turn. You are going to say a number that you think is the total, the total among all the players and what they're showing. So you see everyone's feather, but your own. The next player will continue pushing that total or say, no way, you've gone over the total. We reveal. Whoever was wrong is going to take a ding token, and then you keep playing. You shuffle up and deal out again. Again, it's this one, you have to kind of feel out the setting before you bring this one out, but it's one that I've really gotten a lot of good mileage out of. It tends to go over well for me, and while it might not be as sort of uproarious fun as some of the drawing or acting style games, for something a little more low-key, this one really, really has gone over well for me. So Powwow is my number 6.
I'm thinking if he put Powwow on his list, he probably has Liar's Dice in there too.
No, I just put Powwow on the list.
Did you? Mm-hmm. I like Powwow a lot. I don't know if I'd bring it to a party, but all right.
Number 5.
All right, my number 5 is the second game on my list from Cool Mini or Not, and I only have 2, so there won't be any more. But this is a newer game, just came out last year, that I was introduced to just after Essen. Eric and I actually tried to play this 2-player, and it absolutely went and fell flat. So do not play this game with lower player counts. Go up to either the max to play the game regularly, or use the variants. It actually goes up to 12. That is, raise your goblets. This is a game where you've all been invited to the King's Palace for a meal, but you've been sent to take out somebody else at the meal from another family. And to do that, you're going to poison their wine goblet so that when they drink it, they die. And it has this feeling of that scene in Princess Bride where I can't remember their names now. What in the world? Yeah, Vicini and
Man in Black.
the Man in Black are having this battle of wits over these 2 cups, and it feels like that. much better than the actual game that was themed that way. By I don't remember who published that one, but another one came out that was used that exact theme, and it was garbage. This one actually feels exactly like that, except you can have up to 12 people. Now, when you go up to 12 people, you have the one person who is the actual person that was invited to the ball, but then they have a teammate who is a wine taster, and there can be loyal wine tasters, but there's one traitor wine taster. Where they can look in your cup and taste the wine before the other person does it, and they can either say, yes, it's safe for you. The problem is, do you know if the guy is the traitor? Is he lying to you so that you'll do this? Anyway, it's a really fun game that has variable player powers. It has social deduction, and it is very fun. Raise your goblets from Cool Mini or Not.
All right, what do you got?
Didn't I already go? What number was that for you, Sam?
5.
Okay, my number 5 has been mentioned already by Mr. Samuel Healy, and this is Unusual Suspects.
Yeah.
Again, for everything he said, I very much enjoy the game. It is that conversational style, like Insider, like Deception, Murder in Hong Kong, that I tend to gravitate towards at a party. You know, if I'm going to play one that's lighter, this is the kind I tend to go for. So, yeah, he said it already. I really like this.
There's not a lot of crossover between mine and Sam's list. We have very different opinions on party games, for sure. My number 5, I'm pretty sure, is not on his list. This is my daughter's favorite party game, easily. All of them, I think, like this one the best, and that's Dixit. I like Dixit because I like the beautiful cards, but I also like the way the game works. You basically can say anything you want, and you're trying to get people to guess it, but as all those cards are out there, people are like, and they're trying to think, and it's that discussion after the round's turned over. Oh, I thought you put out that card. And people often ask me, what expansion I get for Dixit? Really, just get any of them. But I love the fact that there's so many expansions out now that every game is so different. There's so much artwork out for the game. And I've just had so much success because Dixit fits that line between silly party game, but it can be kind of thinky too.
Right.
You can kind of be clever with your clues that you give. And I played this game before with some people who were very clever with the things they gave, and it was a very different experience. But I also enjoyed that. I just really like this one. Sam does not, so I'm just putting that out there.
No.
That was my number 11.
Was it your number 11? Oh, I thought it'd be higher on your list, actually. Well, I'm glad I put it on anyway.
Number 4.
My number 4 is a game that actually just got a new edition. There is a 2 edition of it now.
Coliseum.
And no, it's not a party game.
I play like a party game.
No, you don't. This one is from Cryptozoic Entertainment.
Sorry.
No.
We're just starting things out. Go ahead.
This is from Cryptozoic Entertainment, and it is called Spyfall. Also Hobby World.
Spyfall 2 is
Spyfall 2 is the exact same game, correct, which is why I was just kind of leading into it. Spyfall is where you have a deck of cards equal to the number of people who are in the game, and minus one of those is a certain location. But there's one card in there where it's a spy, and if those cards are dealt out, if you pull it up and you're the spy, then you don't know where you are, but everybody else does know. So one person starts asking questions to another person, where very elusive questions, I guess you could say, so that only hopefully the two of you know that each of you know where you are. Whereas the spy doesn't know, and he has to kind of try to deduce from the questions and the answers where they might be without being found out. And if he can go 8 minutes without being found out, then he actually wins. But if he gets caught, then everybody else wins and he loses. It's a really fun game. Probably another variant on 20 questions, but it has to be kind of elusive, and there's thematic purpose. So another reason why I like it better than Insider.
I love how you... A party game does not need to have thematic purpose.
For me, it does.
No, actually, I think it's very funny how you think that Spyfall's premise makes sense. Have you considered what you're doing in that game? You are somewhere and you don't know where you are.
Not
So
saying
you need
it
to
made
ask the
sense.
people
I said
around
there's
you.
thematic purpose. You're a spy at a location. Sure, you might. That doesn't. You don't know where you are, right? But you're trying not to be found out.
Are you a blind spy? I mean,
Why
Well, that's
would
interesting.
would that be a problem if I were?
no, but that's
Okay,
weird.
then.
The game's theme technically does not make any sense.
We're back to Unusual Suspects.
But it gives purpose to why you're doing what you're doing.
Gives window dressing. I get what you're saying.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Not saying it makes sense.
My number 4 is another game that probably is not on Sam's list.
This is like top 10
You can
party
just
games, not on
imagine-
Sam's
We
list.
can just put that in as a lower third. Also not on Sam's list.
This one is one where I actually don't play it even that much as a game, but more as an activity.
He hates it, is
and
what
that
he's
is
saying.
Concept. I'm really, every time I play Concept, I just enjoy it so much. Again,
Mm-hmm.
this is another riff on 20 Questions, kind of, sort of, but instead of you being able to say anything, you were showing clues by putting markers on a mat. And again, and you're trying to be as clever as you possibly can, how you put the markers on the mat, where you put them, and people are sussing out what you're doing. The game has rules on like how many points people get if they guess it. I stopped playing them after I think the second game. It's your turn now to give the clue, and then people guess. And I don't know. I had a lot of fun playing Concept. It goes over really well.
Wait, did you just say you don't play the game
By the rules.
by the rules?
It's a party game, man. That's like when I play Spyfall, the spy is blind. Boom. That's just...
He always is, though.
No, he's usually just
Well, even Spyfall,
asleep.
we don't play by the rules. Where usually it's like, okay, now you got it 2 points, 1 point. When I'm like, all right, new game. You know,
that's true.
We're just starting another round over. Forget
Yeah,
this point
scoring in
nonsense.
most party games is like, whatever.
Right.
There are some where it does matter, like when you mentioned time's up. People do care about the score in that game.
Yes.
That's true. Or some games will end when something happens, and
Right,
that's the
right,
scoring. Yeah. All right. My number 4 is that kind of game. It's the kind of game that when someone is finally completely out of their cards, game is over, and they have won. Or you count up how many cards they've won. The game is Wink, which is a really super light, not conversation-driven style of game in which you are on your turn very simply. You have a few cards in your hand that have numbers. You take a pawn. You put it on a card out there on the table. There's a spread out on the table. A bunch of, another basically a replica deck of the one that got dealt out to people. And by the time it comes back around to your turn and you have to pick up your pawn and move it, you need to know who is holding the card that you put your pawn on. You need to make sure it's not one you have, obviously. That's it. That's the game. And then you're going to score a point if you figure that out. And the person who has it is going to score a point. The way they tell you they have it is by winking at you without anyone catching that wink. Because if someone catches it, you can call them out. Whoa, caught you, and you, match. That's it. That's the game. And that happens a lot in this game. What you're doing right now, this whole doing this, and it's just, I don't know what it is. It's almost, it shouldn't work. But it's a riot. It's so, I remember reading the rules to this game and going, this is stupid. This isn't going to work very well. There's no game here. It works. And I've had lots of success with it. So I would recommend this one, especially for a group of that's mixed ages, where the kids don't need to have the knowledge to keep up with the group of adults. I would recommend it for that.
Right.
So that's my number 4, Wink.
Number 3.
All right, into the big 3 here. My number 3 is a game that I played since I was 10, I think, probably, and that is Boulder Dash. I used to say Beyond Boulder Dash, but in the past 4 or 5 years, they've essentially turned Boulder Dash into Beyond Boulder Dash. It's just one game now, Boulder Dash, because it has a different categories. It used to be, is there a word? What does the word mean? Everyone writes it down, but now they got movie categories, initials. The law is the new category, which is a hilarious law. It's illegal to play with that music in that city. So, funny moment. Boulder Dash is one of those games where the score don't matter. You do keep score, I guess, over the course of the game, but it's all about how much fun it is to play. And Boulder Dash, I find more fun the more the game devolves. To the point where eventually it's really obvious what the correct answer is because every other answer is so over the top, ridiculous. and yet who cares because it's that funny. I just love the game. Great game, Balderdash.
All right, my number 3 is Telestrations, which is the telephone game but drawn out. You are given a category, you sketch that thing. Usually we make up categories because they're a little bland, I guess, is the best way to put it. But usually we'll make up a thing, you sketch it, or you write it out, pass it to the next player who does the other thing. If they look at a sketch and write out what they think it is, or they look at a word and sketch it out, pass it yet again, and of course the next person only gets to look at the last thing, not the entire sequence. That's it. And then you flip through them and laugh. The scoring is there, but no one ever cares. Telestrations, really, really silly, funny, let's play again kind of game.
By the way, Telestrations works best if you throw the scoring out. It also works best if you tell people when they write the phrase down to be specific. Don't be like dog.
Right.
Right? Dalmatian throwing up. You know, whatever you think it is doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that makes the next picture funnier, which makes it just the whole game runs a lot better that way.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
And there's a 12-pack for this game, which is great.
Yeah. That's my number 11. It's mine. I just missed my
Yeah,
list.
it's pretty high on my list, too. I really like Telestrations.
All right, my number 3 is from Arcane Wonders, and it is called Sheriff of Nottingham. And this is a game that's probably the lowest player counts. Maybe my number 2 has a lower. I can't remember. What's the max number in Sheriff? It's 6, isn't it?
5.
Is it?
Until the expansion comes out, 5.
Okay. So, see, I thought it was 6 for a reason. So it's that and my number 2. Both are the lower player counts. But Sheriff of Nottingham is a game that I really enjoy playing because it gives you the opportunity to lie without any real serious repercussions. And I think it's fun to lie in a game format. Did I provide enough caveats there? I think I did. I don't think it's okay to lie.
Dude, you just talked about
But in a
that
game,
other game and said, who cares about political correctness? You don't need to defend lying now.
this is probably true.
In party games, everything's out the window.
This is probably true. Now, you do not have to lie, which is one of the things that I like about it. You can do very well in this game by not lying at all. As a matter of fact, I think we just played a game where we got trounced by Kenny, who did not lie once during the entire game. He was very clear about what was in his bag.
I thought he lied.
He did the stupidest lies ever. Remember?
Right, but he was like totally upfront about it.
No, but he would be like, I got 3 apples and he had 2 apples and a cheese.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. I've never seen someone play
But
that
he
way
played the
before.
game though. He played the numbers game in that, and he came out way on top. And I just thought that was interesting. But you can really get into the aspect of role playing, the different role, taking on the role of the sheriff, and the other people taking on the role of commoners, bringing in their wares to sell in the market, and you can just really have a whole lot of fun with it. And that's why I think it fits as a party game, because you can kind of just metaphorically let your hair down and just have a great time with it. And the game presents itself to you in that format. It's not like Quelf where it makes you act dumb. You just naturally want to act dumb because the game invites that. So that is my number 3, Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yeah, I obviously I love Sheriffs and Dexterity Essentials. I just didn't put it on this list because for me it was a really close fine line. I was like, party game, not party game, I don't know. 5 players, I don't know. I love the game, I'll just leave it off.
Yeah, normally a party game has a larger player count, and this doesn't really have it. But
I'm not so convinced that the larger player count, I don't know, like I said, it was on the line for me.
Number 2.
My number 2 has been mentioned already, and this is Balderdash. I've liked Balderdash for many years, like Tom said, and I still own my Beyond Balderdash copy, but like he said, it's the same thing now. And this is the one game on this list that consistently gives me laughter headaches. And that's ridiculous to say, but I've fallen out of chairs laughing in this game. It's the funniest game on the list. If that's
true. I think it really is.
if that's what you're going for, I want the funniest game. Balderdash. That's it. It's the dictionary game, basically, but with categories, you know. And some people I know have the whole, oh, why would I buy a game that I can just grab a dictionary and play?
Because you don't.
Because you don't, and because it's
play.
not just the dictionary game when you now have all these other categories. So, my number 2, Balder Dash, love it.
Not to mention, if you're going to use the dictionary game, and people say, well, you can just use the dictionary, you need one of those mega dictionaries that has super obscure words. You're passing around a 50-pound book. Like, there. Because if you use like your regular pocket dictionary, you should know most of the words in that dictionary.
Right.
So you'll be sitting there, oh no, people know that, people know that. The stuff in Baldur
You're
Dash
also
is
looking
super
for, you're
obscure.
looking for words. Yeah, it's going to be slow.
Actually, I think the word category is like the one we use the least at this point.
Right.
It's the movie one.
The movie one's funny stuff.
All right, what do you got? Number 2.
My number 2 is, like I said, another lower player count game, but this one does have a couple more players in it, and it is from DV Gyoshi, and that is Bang, the dice game. This is one that I have used in party atmospheres a lot. As long as the people are savvy on how to play Yahtzee. As long as you're savvy on that, this one is pretty much just a skin that goes on top of that. And I really enjoy it. The new expansion that just came out last year, Old Saloon, is for me a no-brainer addition because it answers part of the player elimination problem that Bang the Dice game has, where the first player eliminated now can become the ghost and can help either side that he wants to, or hurt either side that he wants to. So it's an interesting fix for the player elimination. Now, it only takes care of the first person eliminated. The next person that gets eliminated after that is still eliminated from the game. But I really enjoy the game. I've had tremendous success with it. Bang the Dice game, my number 2.
What about Walking Dead? Bang.
No.
Okay. All right, my number 2 was also on Sam's list, but he's wrong, so very wrong.
Huh?
And that is Time's Up. Now look, I don't know, he was saying Time's Up had problems. Time's Up is amazing. Sure, sometimes a couple people can whoop everyone else, but the thing I like about Time's Up is I don't care if I'm winning or losing, it's so much fun to watch people do stuff. The in-game clues that are wrong, that then become a thing in that game, are hilarious. You know, oh, William Tell, he's this guy from this movie, and like, no, that's not the same guy, but then that becomes the shtick for that.
Right.
In our last game we played live, skipping became something for somebody. They were skipping, and that had nothing to do with it, right? But it just becomes a funny and joking. That third round, the first round of Time's Up is okay. It's a decent game. Second round is a lot funnier, but that third round, hilarious. But you have to have those first 2 rounds.
Aren't you supposed to be playing a 4th round also, though?
Wow, you can do that.
Or is that
Strike a
optional?
pose, that's an optional thing.
Okay.
That's okay. It's 3 rounds and Time's Up is like the perfect length.
Okay.
But I just love the game. Total Recall is my favorite version, but I'd play both easily. I have both. Yeah, I do.
And finally, number 1.
Die! Found my die, baby!
16.
Oh, wow, you rolled already.
You gave me an 18, and you yourself rolled an 18. So that's a tie. Yeah! Take it!
My manipulation did not work.
Do we have to re-roll? No, I guess we're...
No, I'll let you go first because I'm a nice guy.
Okay.
What, you want to guess what it is?
Excuse me.
I don't.
I'm going to guess it's Time's Up because you haven't said it yet. It should be on your list.
Right? I love that game.
Do you not like Time's Up?
It's okay.
I don't think it's his number 1.
All right, hang on. Let me look through all my Is it one that's been said already?
No.
Okay.
You're not going to guess. Whatever. I'm going.
Go ahead.
My number 1 is compatibility.
Oh, that's right. I forgot how much you like that game, although it's not even in my top 50 party games. But
Right.
it's a decent game.
But here's the thing, though. I like it. That's super weird because it's on my list and it's my number 1. And what I like about it, it's that it's...
What did that just mean?
Passive aggressive much?
It's right. No,
Sorry, sir.
I like that it's...
Your game's amazing.
I like that it's got a little bit of that Dixit where it can be thinky. It can be sort of silly, and you can go that route also and have a good time that way. But I like that it can be thinky. It's a great game for couples also. I mean, it almost is made for couples, really. So I would recommend it for that setting as well. If you're having a gathering with several couples coming over, that's a good way to do it. It works okay with a group of strangers as an icebreaker, but this one is one I would push more towards, okay, we all know each other pretty well. Let's see how well, you know. And the gameplay is you flip a category. It says, I don't know, Friday. Excuse me. And then you have a deck of cards, and you are going to pick the top 5 cards that you associate with the thing that the category is. You arrange them from strongest to weakest association among those 5 cards. Everyone has an identical deck, and then you see if you matched with your partner. That's it. But it's really fun, this whole, I picked this card first, you didn't pick it at all. How did you not even think of this one? Or sometimes you have the perfect match, and that's a good moment, It's a feel-good game. That's the thing that really does it for me, and that's rare in a party game. You'll have fun, you'll laugh, but feel good, this one and this style locks that down for me. So that's my number 1, compatibility.
You can also get it for the low, low price of 50 cents at your local thrift store. It is. It is. No, it's everywhere.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. I find that at thrift stores all the time. Here's the thing about compatibility. I think I would like this game even more if it was not so obviously 80s.
Yeah.
Like new decks of cards, and there's a few cards that I would cut out. There's some cards with just a word on them. I would take them out completely.
Well, the game is certainly dated. Absolutely. Right. There's no question.
A new version of this would be great.
Oh, I'd love it, but this is what we've got. But yeah, absolutely. I would love a new version of it.
All right. My number 1's already been mentioned. Want to guess? It was on your list.
It was on mine?
It was.
Huh. On my list?
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were like polar opposites on party games.
Well, now you guys love each other.
Spyfall?
Yeah, it's Spyfall. I love Spyfall. It works in so many situations, easy to bring out, plays really well. I love that whole aspect of the, one person not knowing. It's even more interesting for me.
No one knows.
That I have the deck of all spies, which I think is funny.
Ugh.
And I also...
It's not funny.
Also you can play with the fact that...
Cruel and unusual punishment.
That there might be no spy, which I think is interesting. Because you have to then guess that there's no spy.
Oh, that's an actual variant, or did you make that up?
Yeah, and then you can also play with 2 spies.
Yeah, that's something the new Spyfall 2 brought in.
I think so, yeah. I don't remember which.
That's kind of cool.
Have
right,
2 spies, yeah.
Everyone has to point at the person next to them. You have to there can be no, you're like, okay, we agree, there's no spy in this game, 1, 2, 3, and everyone points to the person to their right or left or whatever.
Okay.
And then, hopefully you're right, or else the spy wins.
Okay.
So
what if you think the spy is the person next to you?
Well then, okay, whatever. Anyway, this game is really fun. Yeah, unfortunately, it had a terrible distribution out the gate.
Yeah.
And then it still is not that easy to find. But if you can get a copy of it, Spyfall 2, same game pretty much.
The cool thing about Spyfall is it certainly breaks new ground. It feels different than pretty much most party games.
Yeah.
And that's really, it's not on my list. It's on my short list, but that's the thing it nails. This feels unique, and I like that.
I think what Sam's number 1 is. Have we mentioned it?
Yep.
Have we both mentioned it?
Nope.
Okay, so not Boulder Dash. Who mentioned it?
Mr. Garcia.
Oh my goodness me, I haven't been called that in ages. It is...
That's my father's name, sir.
It's Deception.
It is Deception.
Oh, that's right, because you had said before that was not your favorite deduction game. You really love Deception, man.
Yeah, I love Deception. It's by Grey Fox Games, and it's in my opinion, it's the perfect social deduction game, because there is just absolute clear purpose. The murderer is definitely trying to deflect away from him. His accomplice, and again, you have to play this game in order to get the full effect of it with all of these variable players. You have to roles. You have to do that because that's what makes the game really shine.
Mm-hmm.
Being the the forensic scientist, the one who's giving the clue, can be so painful sometimes because you've, as best as you possibly could with the random flips of the locations and all that other kind of stuff, you've laid out exactly who is the murderer and how they did it. You've done the best you possibly can do, and people are just missing it for one reason or another. It can be just painful that way. But at the same time, that's one of the main things that I really enjoy about it. I love being the forensic scientist, but I also like all of the other roles as well. The investigators, the accomplice, the murderer. It's all fun. I really enjoy it. I just wish, as I said before, that it looked a little bit better.
Yeah.
And not as drab and monochromatic.
Right.
Man, that's CSI is. Boring. It's not interesting. It's not the movies, it's not the TV show.
It's just I really enjoy the game. Everything that Z said about it before, I just had a lot of fun with this game. Really enjoy it. My number 1, Deception, Murder in Hong Kong from Gray Fox Games.
Also, Gooseberry, Speechless, Faces, Dead Last, Giraffeometer, Gift Trap, Smarty Party, Plucking Pears, Spit It Out. But wait, there's more.
I know. I
Casting,
figured.
Word on the Street. For me, party games is one of my favorite categories. I probably could have made it. I don't know if I could do a top 100 party games, but I could come close.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I really like that. I like party games. I just wish that there was. It feels like only 1 or 2 good ones come out a year anymore.
The problem with party games really is market penetration. There are 4 good ones that are everywhere, and all the other ones just languish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the problem. And on top of that, even gamers gamers often look down on that style of game. Like it's somehow not as okay to enjoy a game and laugh, Except for Codenames has broken that stigma, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, I see. I don't.
a little bit.
The line that I draw, I guess, is where a game is forcing you to be stupid.
Love it.
If it's forcing you to be stupid, I'll pass. I'll go sit over here and watch you guys play. I don't know. But a game that, for example, Sheriff, where it encourages you, it doesn't make you do it by some card that you flip over or anything like that, but it encourages you to be kind of goofy and I like stuff like that.
No, I agree with that.
So.
Well, those are our favorite party games. Tell us yours in the comments. I'm curious. I'm sure there's a lot we didn't mention.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the games that people love, like Taboo and categories that didn't make our list. There's just a lot of great party games out there.
Yeah.
Let us know. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
Z Garcia, thank you, everybody.
Sam Healy. See you on the flip side, folks.
Roll the credits.